Good to see you too.
Amy's in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, women.
Yeah.
The Speaker's Corner is about to begin. Hi to everybody who's watching with us.
And
We've got a bunch of live
Keith
streams
here.
going on
Hi,
today, so
WLRN.
that's really exciting.
Hi,
Hey.
WLRN. We have a nice sunny day. We have a nice string of protesters. We got some great women. It's everything you could want in a protest.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's right. And we've got our company here. We have our friends.
All your fans.
Oh, they've come to
We've got a whole
join
bunch
us.
of fans up there. They show up for everything we do.
They always
It's
show up.
kind of like they totally love us.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But we're not going to allow them to silence us.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
So sad.
Hi, Erin. I'm Lynn. Lynn, nice to meet you. We've got a really nice turnout here. There's a lot.
I was just saying, it's awesome. Look at all these women. And we got some male allies there to support us too. It's great.
Yeah.
Awesome turnout.
Oh, there we are. Now I'm amplified. Got it. Okay. Is that up as far as it can go? All right.
Check it out again. See if it doesn't get feedback.
Just one moment.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon.
Alright, it's getting going. I'm gonna duck out.
After this, so I'm just gonna move it. Right. Okay, so we are gathered here to talk about women's rights. If we can let the backdrop of this peaceful protest continue and try and ignore them, that would be great.
Some of you back around. Stand behind the speakers as well.
Can you see posing on the screen?
It's like a ring around the speakers.
Yeah.
I might just,
Here, you know what you can do? Go to your
I'm
settings
just going to come forward.
and go
Okay.
to settings and go to camera.
Okay.
Oh, good. Can I reverse it?
And then and then you're gonna go to
I'm here today as a
Back
black
camera.
woman.
I love you.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Right. Now what do I need to do?
So, what's going to happen? is-
Yeah, thank you, Amy, for that technical support. It's awesome, women helping
Oh, there
women.
we are. Perfect.
Okay.
I love it. Okay, this is much better.
Right, okay. Right, good afternoon. So this is about let women speak. And what that means is even those intelligent people behind talking about their mantras, that this is just they can hate women. Okay. I'm just trying to work out why this is droopy. It's been on estrogen.
I paid money for them. Please use them. Give them out. Hand them out. Give them to everybody.
Welcome
Let
to
women
Misogyny
speak.
in here.
Let women speak. 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 Women speak. Let women speak. Let women speak. Let women speak.
Okay, I'm going to turn mine.
What if we
This is about us now. Do you mind?
We're rearranging a little bit so that we're paying. We want our backs to them. We're not giving these people any attention.
Okay, I'm just going to say this to those of us that are here that actually agree with free speech. I'm going to say this. I would normally turn the speaker around to talk to those people, but they're beyond reason and rationale. So I'd rather just us. The whole idea about let women speak is to literally let women speak. It's not about let women get attacked. It's not about let women be intimidated. It's literally about creating space in which women can speak. Now, these people don't want women to speak because they're frightened of what we might say. And I think ultimately what frightens them is that they really do agree with us and they know we're right. Is that a scream? Oh my God, there's literally someone screaming. So we have a couple of blokes up there who, in fact, there's a girl who thinks that we're obsessed with her. We're not. There's a couple of blokes up there who clearly are using women's spaces. It's bizarre. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at literally just some grown. If you just got the camera.
Gotcha.
God, it's like herding cats. Okay, so we're here because in the United States of America, where they're supposed to have free speech, they absolutely are losing the ability to speak freely. And the people that are losing it the most are not conservatives, they're not Republicans, they're not Democrats, they're not people who vote Green. They are women on the basis of our reproductive capacity or not. And what these children don't understand, because they've been cosseted in a glut of luxury and privilege, what they don't understand is they're actually waging a class war against women. That essentially is what is happening. And it is quite funny. I mean, people have brought their kids. They're indoctrinated religious cult kids, which hopefully we won't have on camera because I think that's quite abusive to bring children along to something like this. So the way we work at Standing for Women is there are no hierarchies. Everyone gets the right to speak. We would ask you respectfully to keep it 5 minutes or shorter. I think this is going to get old really quickly. And I think what we're going to want to do is try and say what we need to say and then go. Because the idea is not to engage with them because they're past it, but it's just to say whatever it is that we feel we need to say. So, who would like to speak?
I'm taller than she is. Are we good? Can you hear me? All right. So my name is Kellie-Jay Keen, and I'm the founder of Wolf. We're the group that's suing the state of California for putting men in women's prisons. In California, men can get transferred to the women's prison by simply declaring that they are women. Hundreds of men are now on the waiting list. What we know about men who pretend to be women: they retain the same patterns of criminality as other men, the same violent crimes, the same sexual crimes. So they can change their clothes, nothing else changes. In fact, of the men pretending to be women in prison, fully half of them are sexual offenders. Half. Do I need to say that the women are living in terror? That the men wasted no time in threatening and assaulting women? That the women are sleeping in shifts because they're so afraid? Women are locked in cages with rapists. Oh, be kind, they said. Use the pronouns, they said. What harm could come, they said. A woman in England was in the hospital in what was supposed to be a woman's ward, only there was a man there and he raped her. Now that's horrible enough, but what happened next defies description. For an entire year, both the hospital and the police refused to do anything except repeat the mantra that trans women are women and no men were there. So there was no rape. An entire year. The only reason she was able to crowbar some justice out of anyone was because there was CCTV footage of that man raping her. It's still hospital policy. Men can declare themselves women and get a bed on the female ward. Staff have been instructed to lie to women and say there is no man here. Even if he rapes you, they will keep telling you there is no man. Be kind, they said. Use the pronouns, they said. What harm could come, they said. And here we are. In Randolph, Vermont, a teenage boy joined the girls' volleyball team and was granted access to their locker room. He sat while the girls undressed and made disgusting comments about their bodies. When the girls complained, they were thrown out of their locker room. The entire team has one single bathroom stall to change in now. Understand, instead of being protected, they are being punished. Be nice, they said. Use the pronouns, they said. What harm could come, they said. And here we are. And children, for liking the wrong color or choosing the wrong toys, children are being denied their biological integrity of their own bodies. So, chemicals and surgeries that destroy their fertility, their sexual organs, their bones, their livers, their hearts, and their lifespans. The only word for this that I have is sadism. Marcy Bowers, head of WPATH, and the doctor who mutilated Jazz Jennings' perfectly healthy penis, admits that 0 of the children, 0 on this protocol ever achieve orgasm. And I'm sorry to have to be so blunt, but no one is listening. Perfectly healthy young children are being declared unfit and having their capacity for sexual pleasure destroyed, stolen from them before they even know what it is, destroyed. How is this possible in 2022? Thousands of children who will never grow up to know the exquisite communion where animal meets angel, where trust and pleasure entwine across every nerve and bloom into love. They will never have that. Oh, be kind, they said. Use the pronouns, they said. What harm could come, they said. And here we are. This is a men's sexual rights movement. They've been working for decades to disguise that fact, and they've been largely successful. But that's why they need children. Children are the human shields protecting autogynephiles and worse from public scrutiny. What was once called transvestic fetishism was rebranded as transsexualism and finally cleansed into transgenderism. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, but they need the children for the magic trick to work. Well, you can't have them. Especially you can't have the lesbian and gay kids. You can't have...
Nobody cares! Get the fuck out of here!
Thank you. You can't have the children. Especially you can't have the lesbian and gay kids. You can't have them. You can't have the autistic kids. You can't have the vulnerable kids. The girls barely holding on through drenching storms of violation and neglect. They need to be cosseted in safety and care, and you hand them an ideology of self-loathing. We are here to tell you, you can't have them. You know what else you can't have? You can't have our sports teams, our bathrooms, our prisons. You can't have our periods, you don't menstruate, and you can't have our miscarriage support groups. Yes, these sick fucks weasel their way into miscarriage support groups, and the Be Kind women let them in. You can't have our rape crisis hotlines or our homeless shelters. You can't have our pronouns. You can't have the word mother or the word lesbian. You can't. And especially, you can't have the word woman. Listen up, fetish boys. This is the sound of a woman saying no. Woman, adult, human, female. You can't have it.
Thank you so much, Leah. I'm going to bring everything closer together because what the people at home can't see is just me. What you can't see is
We knew this would be crazy, and here it is.
50 or 60 years old, and a woman standing near him with a beard. But that man should know better. He talks about love is love. It's hysterical. So we're going to keep going. Yes, come speak.
Hi, I am a disabled bisexual woman, and I'd like to talk a bit about how gender ideology affects each of these aspects of my life. I've been disabled all of my life and started seeking support online a number of years ago. It didn't take long for me to notice a trend. The majority of disabled influencers are female, and almost all of them identify as either she, they, or they, them. Trans ideology is also pushed hard, and you are expected to accept it without question. This is something I have a problem with because we are supposed to be learning to accept our disabilities as a part of our bodies, and trans ideology is all about changing yourself while masquerading as acceptance. This has had a huge impact on the disability community, and you are excommunicated if you don't say the chant. I will not say the chant. Being disabled, I am already so dehumanized and so often defined by my body parts that when terms like uterus haver and bleeders started popping up, I expected outrage from the disability community. But when the women I followed, many with female issues, accepted it without question to be kind, I left that community. As for being bisexual, what do you mean? There is no such thing as bisexual anymore because there are more than two sexes. And to say otherwise will have you branded as transphobic and you will be denied your rainbow card. I have and am still losing a vital part of my socializing, dating, and a sex life because of these stigmas. I don't date because if I go home with a woman, I want to know I am going home with a woman, and I am not a bigot for that. Recently, I was banned from a group for women's fashion I partake in. This fashion was created in Japan in the 70s when a woman's role in life was to get married. So some got together and created this fashion specifically designed to be unattractive to men and to avert the male gaze. Because of this, here in America, it became a safe space for women, especially sexual assault and harassment survivors like myself. Now these groups are banning survivors like me who believe there are two sexes while allowing men in who identify as women. You either speak up or pretend like the male gaze isn't there. They learned that I was speaking up. Lastly, I'd really like to talk about bathrooms. I recently saw a video of a non-binary activist saying he can't go into a men's toilet just the way he is because it wouldn't be safe. How come when this man says it, he is touted as a hero, but when thousands of women say it, we're bigots? People laugh when I say this, but women's toilets are safe spaces. I cannot count the amount of times I've had to step into a bathroom to escape harassment from a man, or to hide from a stalker, or to step in and cry because I'm afraid to go home, or to take off my underwear and tights to wash them at the sink because my period bled through. I don't want a man in there while I'm doing that, whatever he identifies as, and he shouldn't want to be in there while I'm doing that. I am not a Nazi for wanting to be safe and have privacy. Because of my disability, there's no such thing for me as a quick in and out. And when it comes to going to the toilet, I do believe this is a war, but I also believe that our voices are our most powerful weapon. I implore you, even if all you have to say is, I deserve to pee without fear, come up and say it. It has taken me 30 years and almost 10 years of therapy to realize that I have a voice and that I can use it when I see something wrong. Don't wait that long. Now is the time. Thank you.
What a wonderful speech. Thank you so much.
Hello. My name is Candace Mercer. Today I'm going to talk about what trans rights activists don't want to talk about, the dark side of gender ideology. The Just Be Kind Compassionista crowd wants you to believe gender ideology is all glitter, bubbles, and rainbows. It is not. I have been a supporter of LGBT rights since the 1980s. I believe in diverse gender expression. I want it to be okay for people to present however they want. Unfortunately, there are many aspects of postmodern gender theory that are harmful to individuals, families, and communities. Given the claim that trans women are women, they should have empathy for women. They do not. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the most closely guarded secrets, autogynephilia.
Let's talk about
autogynephilia involves men who transition later in life due to a compulsive sexual fetish that revolves around pretending to be a woman. These men get gender euphoria when they engage in normal female activities and when we treat them as women. Gender euphoria is code word for sexual excitement, erections, boners. To the public, trans rights activists deny the existence of autogynephilia. They claim it as transphobia. They are lying. When you read first-hand accounts of these men with autogynephilia, they are open about their gender euphoria erections and what triggers them. Due to the Just Be Kind ideology, these men have permission to act out their hypno-sissy porn fetishes in public. They get boners when they wear women's clothing and when they shop for women's clothing. This means there are erections in women's fitting rooms. Men get boners when applying makeup, especially in women's bathrooms. They post selfies of their erections on social media and write of the thrill of masturbating in women's rooms. I've read accounts of men with menstruation fetishes retrieving used tampons and sanitary pads out of the trash. Autogynephiliac men get boners when other people affirm them as women. This is why they are enraged when misgendered. It breaks their sexual spell. It is also why they have intense anger when lesbians reject them sexually. When men dressed as women get erections from interacting with women in women's spaces, we are non-player characters in their sexual fantasies. We did not give consent. This is sexual harassment. It gets worse. Autogynephiliac men hate women. They despise us because they cannot be us. It is one of the purest forms of misogyny I have ever encountered. But the ugliest aspect of autogynephiliac men is that they are using their children as a shield for their perversions. They promote and hide behind gender ideology to ratify and protect their fetish. Gender ideology gives these men unlimited, socially sanctioned access to women's spaces. Children are groomed by gender ideology to mutilate their healthy bodies, destroying their chances for a normal life. Children cannot consent to double mastectomies, hysterectomies, vaginoplasties, castration, and phalloplasties. Synthetic sexual identities are disabling children and making them drug dependent for life. Are you okay with this? I am not. Enough is enough. I refuse to accept autogynephilic men and their erections in women's spaces. I refuse to deny biology. I refuse to sacrifice children. I refuse to be silent. Thank you.
My name is Amy Souza, and this is the public record of my dissent. Women say no. I have stood up in Washington, D.C. against Biden's EO. I have stood up in New York City against the United Nations erasure of women in language and law. I have stood up in Austin, Atlanta, against Liar Thomas for women's sports. And recently, I organized a press conference in Port Townsend, Washington, for Julie Jamon, an 80-year-old woman who was banned from the YMCA for life for protecting young girls in a women's locker room where there was a man touching their bodies. These men are telling on themselves. In the video done by Skirt Go Spinny, in their own words, these men describe their woman identity as vapid, empty, an opposable Barbie doll, a hole, a vacancy. But we are not vacant. We are not empty. We are fully embodied, whole human beings. We are whole. We are women. I am my body. We are not a ghost in a machine. We are not minds in a meat sleeve. We are fully embodied, whole human beings. When I say that I am a woman, I am not talking about a concept that I hold in my head. I am not a woman because it is what I think I am. I am a woman because it is what I am physically experiencing. When I say no to men in my spaces, I do not say no based on their identity claims, but based on their sex. And when I claim boundaries for myself and my sisters and daughters and grandmothers, I say no, not based on my identity, but based on my sex. This is about sexism. And all of these people are sexist. They are anti-free speech zealots. They are attempting to silence women who stand up for our biology. Women do not consent. This is the public record of our dissent. Women say no. What big teeth you have, Grandma. What big teeth you have. No.
Next we
I
have
recovered from gender dysphoria. I was sucked
closer.
closer. I recovered from gender dysphoria, so I'm just here to say that you can do it. I was sucked in at the age of 16, and I desisted when I was 22. And in between, it was pretty hard to reach me with the truth. I didn't realize it at the time, but I had been brainwashed. But don't let that discourage you from speaking out. What I want to tell you all today is that we young women need you more than you know. Keep going. Keep speaking out. I know sometimes it seems like we're not listening. Sometimes we're not ready to listen. Brainwashing will do that to a person. But by speaking out about the harms of gender identity ideology, you're planting a seed. I think that in the next few years, you can expect to see many more young women come to you with questions. It's social suicide to voice your doubts about the trans movement, but there is just so much that doesn't add up. So I think you're going to have a lot more young women coming to you asking, am I crazy for thinking this? And the answer is no, they're not. As a dysphoric young woman, I was discouraged from talking to so-called TERFs. Now I understand why. Although they won't admit it because they don't recognize the material reality of biological sex, I believe gender identity ideologues do understand on some level that female solidarity is powerful. And so they seek to sever the connections between older and younger women when each generation has so much to teach the next. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. The friendships I've struck up with the women involved in fighting gender ideology have been incredibly healing. I've learned so much just from talking to these women about their own coming of age years. After listening for a while, you start to see yourself in other people and you realize you're not alone in your problems. Other women felt the same way before and would have been eagerly diagnosed by the doctors as having gender dysphoria if they were growing up today. But they got through it in a different way. They found healthier coping mechanisms than pronouns and binders and puberty blockers and testosterone and double mastectomies and phalloplasties. And they built really good lives for themselves. By the time I graduated college, almost all of my friends identified as trans or non-binary. And I can tell you that they did not build really good lives for themselves. During the years I was in the cult, I watched as more and more of my friends underwent procedures that did not help them. Actually, what happened was their mental health got worse. And I worried about them, but I had been told there was only one way to deal with gender dysphoria. Each and every day, I am so grateful I discovered completely by accident that that isn't true. I had been through 7 years of gender dysphoric hell when one day I decided I was going to school the TERFs. I'd been told you were fascist bigots.
Talking to this and I'll hold the microphone up to this.
Is it on? Okay. So I went on gender critical Reddit and I peeked. I'd been told you were all fascist bigots, but I was determined to prove you all wrong. With my superior arguments supporting so-called trans rights. So I went on gender critical Reddit and I peeked. I'm sure some of you can relate to that experience of smugly thinking you know better, only to accidentally peek, because as it turns out, the TERFs do have the answers we've been looking for. Anyway, when I went on that website, one of the first things I found was a picture of a woman standing in front of a billboard that read, "Adult human woman is an adult human female," and it all fell into place for me just like that. I hadn't been ready to hear that message as a teenager, but with a few more years of maturity, it all made sense. Hating my body, being attracted to women, and having intrusive, obsessive thoughts about transition didn't somehow make me a man. A woman is an adult human female, and I can't identify out of that. So I just want to say thank you, Posey, because I don't know where I'd be in life right now if I hadn't snapped out of it. Back then, I was daydreaming of the hormones and surgeries I thought were inevitable. Now I'm here, and my body and mind are healthy and whole. I am so lucky. My friends from college have not been so lucky, but I hope they find their way home someday. I'll be waiting for them, and I can't wait to tell them all I've learned from you wonderful, amazing women. I want to end with a quote I love. This is from the British suffragist Christabel Pankhurst, speaking almost a century ago. Remember the dignity of your womanhood. Do not appeal, do not beg, do not grovel. Take courage, join hands, stand beside us, fight with us. It is our duty to make this world a better place for women.
Thank you.
This woman knows how to work up.
Check 2, 3.
April.
Check 2, 3, 4, 5. All right.
Everybody needs that.
Check 2.
We are women of radiance, radiance, Buffalo woman's kin. We are women of radiance, radiance, double helix spin. Like a lightning arrow or a thundering bear, we ride to the center of light. Shedding our wings, we dawn, wings of magnificence, the eagle and I take flight. The eagle and I take flight. We are women of radiance, radiance. 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 Buffalo woman's kin. We are women of radiance, radiance, a double helix spin. We're like the lightning arrow or the thundering bear. We ride to the center of light. Shedding the only dawn, wings of magnificence, the evil and I take flight. We are women of radiance, radiance. 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 We are women. 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 We are women of radiance.
Sure. No, Lynn, go, Lynn, Lynn. Sorry, I'm a little shorter. I'm a little shorter than she is. That's good right there.
Okay, so these kids have got to go back in at 1 o'clock. It's the end of their lunch. So the educators have said that they will encourage them to go in at 1. Now we could have a little bit of a, just let people soak up the atmosphere and maybe not ask women to shout over so that, because this is let women speak, this is not let women go hoarse. Yeah? So I think if we can, look at that. So we're going to protect our equipment, we're just going to wait and we're just going to film everything that's going on for a bit. Can you stand here?
I'm going to hold on to this and not let it go away. It's getting a lot more chaotic. It's getting a lot louder. It's getting a lot more crowded.
And so for right now, we're going to hold off. We believe that these people have to leave at 1 o'clock because they're students and they are needing to be in class, although maybe they'll decide that's not as important as harassing us. Of course, in education, it's not as important as harassing women.
They're going to stay here. They're going to skip their classes.
Do not touch me. Do not touch me. This little girl wants to fight with this guy. Go the fuck home.
I don't see him touching her. I don't see him touching you. Did he touch you? He didn't touch you. He didn't touch you.
We have no children there. Are you trained to protect? All the kids are on our side. No, Texas Tacoma. No, Texas Tacoma.
You are right here. Oh my God, they're so funny. Are they cute? They're so cute.
How you doing, Lynn?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
Good.
You can take my picture. I don't give a shit. Hi.
Trans women are women. 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 Trans women are women.
That's really quite sad. I know. Why are they so angry?
Women are women. Trans women are women. Trans women are women.
They're so cute. The kids are so cute. Aren't they cute?
Trans women are women. Trans women are women. Trans women are women. Trans women are women. Trans women are women.
I'm gonna go back. Excuse me. Excuse me.
An unscientific belief that emotionally troubled biological men can self-identify as women is a direct threat to women's safety, private spaces, sports teams, and affirmative action programs. Only in an Alice in Wonderland topsy-turvy world is this not a right-wing reactionary ideology. But the harm in gender ideology goes beyond the attack on women's rights. It directly threatens gays and lesbians who are admonished as bigots if they don't jettison same-sex orientation in favor of same-gender orientation. If they don't accept as partners people of the opposite sex who say they identify as the same gender. This philosophy also threatens children, fears vulnerable youth who are just beginning to explore their personality and sexuality towards dangerous medicalization, drastic cosmetic surgery, and lifelong dependence on big pharma. And gender ideology threatens the democratic rights of everyone, men and women alike, by insisting that a subjective, anti-science, religious-like belief system must be worshipped and followed by all. No other religion in modern times has been able to get away with this. Even if you think you've never been personally harmed by gender ideology, the fact is it threatens every one of us. As the labor movement has long proclaimed, an injury to one is an injury to all. Any political dogma that threatens the rights and lives of women, gays, lesbians, and children leaves no one unscathed. Any philosophy that teaches people to ignore science and material reality while praising the emperor's invisible clothes can easily be turned on labor fighters, anti-war activists, and fighters for social justice in the 1%'s never-ending quest to disorient the divide and conquer. For all these reasons, gender ideology represents a right-wing reactionary assault. Unfortunately, this picture gets muddled with so many who claim to represent the left, from socialist groups and self-described progressives to liberal political parties like the Democrats and the Greens, even the British Labour Party and the Scottish National Party. All of these are firmly on the wrong side on this issue. By denying material reality and dismissing the harms inherent in gender ideology, these phony leftists shame themselves and give left cover to this right-wing assault. Everyone has the right to live, love, and express themselves however they like. But one person's right to swing their arms, as it were, stops at the tip of the next person's nose. People can believe in astrology, religion, or gender ideology if they choose, but they don't have a right to impose those beliefs on others. We've come too far in the fight for women's rights, gay and lesbian rights, children's safety, and democratic rights more generally to lose sight of the goal and drop the ball now. We know from high school biology that sex is real. Gender and gender expression are nothing more than newfangled terms for personality. So, in the name of sanity, justice, and material reality, we must insist no conflation of sex with gender in law and public policy. No men in women's spaces. No men in women's sports. No one is born in the wrong body.
About our safety. If any of you who feel that it's too unsafe, come and see me, and if we have enough of you, then we'll call it a day. But I just spoke to the principal. Who claims he has no power to get these students to actually go in, and he's the principal of this high school. He also allows boys in girls' toilets. You will have seen that on the live stream. So, I mean, this is just a microclimate about the insanity that's going on in the US. Oh, it's got lipstick on, it must be a man. So it just got thrown a coffee cup. There's like really regular looking men in with the kids, which might be also a microclimate of what's happening in the US. Anyway, can you back up? Life is non-binary. Yeah, it is. Therefore, non-binary is not a thing. Life is non-binary. Right, who would like to speak? Yes. Gender identity ideology is an irrational, anti-science, civil rights destroying, sexist, homophobic cult.
Kiss it, baby.
Its members are taught to chant irrational sacred mantras. They are taught to believe that anyone that doesn't belong to their religion is evil and must be silent. In short, they have been brainwashed. They don't even see the irony of calling us hateful Nazis as they scream with intense hatred in furtherance of an extremely authoritarian agenda. But guess what? We will not be silenced. Too much is at stake. Women fought hard for our rights. Now men regularly hang out in women's locker rooms and bathrooms. They steal women's spots, records, and trophies in sports. There are men locked in women's prisons as we speak. Numerous rapes have occurred. We will not be silenced. We fought against sexist stereotypes. Now girls who play with trucks are told they might be boys. This is sexism on steroids. We will not be silenced. We worked hard to help people understand and love their bodies. Now people applaud young women who cut off their breasts, pretending this is the epitome. I'm being told that the violence is escalating. I will just say that what we have here is Big Pharma's dream come true. You are all up there, Big Pharma's dream come true. But women will not be silenced, men will not be silenced. All of us on the left who are here will not be silenced. We will speak.
If there's any police here, there's a man in a yellow hat said he's gonna fucking kill someone. Right, okay, we're gonna say, without our mutilated bodies, excuse me, Lynn. Without our mutilated bodies, thank you so much for coming. We're not gonna let any more people being assaulted. The police aren't coming. It's your piercings, they get in the way of your common sense. Okay, so thank you so much. I'd like to say on this day, I never win because I walk away from this with my body intact. So much love to you all. Please donate if you'd like to see us have fucking security at the next event. Thank you, bye-bye.
And let's see what happens now. Emily, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, would you like us to continue? It's a bit of a scene here.
If you feel like you want to stop and pack up and get out of there safely, I completely support you in that. If you want to keep filming to document potential violence, that is also great. Like, whatever feels safest for you.
Okay, Emily, so what's happening right now is that there were a number of women and men who still wanted to speak, but since it's become so volatile and the police are refusing to come, we have decided that they think we must stop for right now. However, the scene is still a little unstable. As you can see, there's a lot of people screaming at us, and we're just trying to pack up. So we'll just stay here and we'll see what else happens, and we'll be here if anything goes down. Yeah, safety first, everyone. Safety first.
Absolutely. Safety first. These are deranged men who are extremely violent. We gotta watch out for these boys. They are totally psychotic. Clearly.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, we're watching. But there are a lot of them here, and it's just so pathetic. It's so pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, the deep irony I always find with them is, like, even while they're screaming "TERFs go home," they are, like, making it difficult for you to leave. We had a experience like that in Madison recently, where the TRAs were yelling at us to leave, but then didn't like it's like they didn't want us to leave. It was like, what do you want, boys? Make up your mind.
We're literally trying to pack our equipment.
Yeah.
We're trying to leave. I think I might try to do some interviews.
Yeah, talk to the women.
On WLRN?
Sure, why not?
Okay, let's try to get away from the noise a little bit, shall we?
I have been tasked with minding your equipment.
Okay, would you like to be named?
Sure, why not?
I have Mackenzie here with me. Mackenzie, why are you here today?
I'm primarily here because of the situation in Washington women's prisons. They are housing males in female prisons, including a serial killer who murdered 3 women named Donna Perry, and a man who I'm allowed to call a man because he promptly went back to being a man after leaving prison. His name is, I believe, Princess Zoe Marie Andromeda Love. He was charged with the rape of a 12-year-old girl, and while in prison, he groomed a developmentally disabled woman into a sexual relationship with him. And once he left prison, went right back being to a man. So I've been in contact with a few representatives and such, and their justification is that they have a procedure preventing the men who go into women's prisons. It's clearly not working. I don't think there is a way to safely allow men who want to go into women's prisons to go into women's prisons. I don't care how they identify, men are men.
Thank you so much, Mackenzie. Thank you for being here to stand for women.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Men are men. Hell yeah.
Would you like to be interviewed for WLRN? Okay. I'm here with Beth.
Should I turn around the other way?
Beth, why are you here today?
I'm here to stand up for women's rights, and especially
Speak very loudly.
I'm here to stand up for women's rights, and especially for children. I think children should be protected and not abused by hormones and surgery that mutilates their perfect bodies. No child is born in the wrong body.
Thank you so much, Beth, and thank you for standing for women and for children. Would you like to be interviewed for WLRN? You do not need to be. Okay.
Get the fuck out of Tacoma.
I've lived in Tacoma all my life. Don't tell me where to go.
Hell yeah.
Interviewed for WLRN. For WLRN. For WLRN, would you like to be? Okay, I'm here with Carol. Carol, why are you here today? Speak loudly.
Because everything I fought for in my life is being destroyed by a cult of brainwashed children who have no clue that they are promoting sexism, homophobia, and the biggest medical scandal of all